well, let's get started. So thank you all so much again for joining us. Some of you have gotten up or stayed up pretty late to be with us. So thank you. We're going to be sharing a lot of information with you, and we also are going to be here to answer any questions that you have. So we really hope that you find this session to be valuable. So in this session, we are going to introduce you briefly to our organizations, to the hosts of this challenge. We'll also dive into the Youth Innovation Challenge, the criteria, key elements that you want to include in your submission. And we will also share some overall tips that we have for your submission, for your pitch, for different parts of the application. And then we'll also have plenty of time for questions at the end and probably throughout. So please share any questions that you have in the chat, and we will answer as many as we can get to in this session. All right, so next slide. So a few housekeeping items. As I said, please share chat, questions in the chat throughout. If you can, please keep yourself muted when you're not speaking. It just helps everyone hear each other better. Please ask us for clarity at any time. If we have said anything that isn't clear or anything, or if we said anything too quickly, please don't hesitate to ask for clarity or to ask us to repeat ourselves. And we also have translated captions available on this webinar. So if you click on the CC button at the bottom of your Zoom screen, you will see, if you click the little arrow next to that, you will see different options to have translated captions, or if you just want captions in English. If you have any issues with that, just chat someone on our team and we'll be happy to help you. And we are recording this, and we'll share the recording within the next few days. All right, and please use that chat. We'd love to hear from you, love to hear your questions, and that shows where the CC button is. And I want to first thank our whole team here at NAAEE and with the GEEP that has been working on the Youth Innovation Challenge. This program would not be possible without everyone on the screen here. So thank you to all of my colleagues who've been doing this, and especially to Madeline, who has put in a lot of hard work to put this webinar together. It's been a real pleasure. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Judy Browse, our Executive Director, to share a few welcoming words.
Thanks, Nina, and hello, everyone. So happy you could join us today, and we're really happy you're here. And Nina, thank you and the whole NAAEE team and Madeline for all the work to make this possible. It's a wonderful opportunity to think about how can we save our seas. And I also want to thank all of our partners. We couldn't do this without our partners at the Taiwan Ocean Conservation Administration. They are amazing, and a huge thank you to Director General Julia Huang, who we'll hear from in just a minute, Hung Wen, or Jimmy as we call him, Chu Yoon, and Tina. It is so important that we all work together to address the big challenges that we're facing as a society, and to also highlight the importance of education. And for those of you who don't know, the Taiwan Ocean Conservation Administration, they research changes in Taiwan's marine life and environment and use technology to encourage public participation to raise awareness about marine conservation. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce a short video from OCA's Director General, Julia Huang.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Youth Innovation Challenge 2023, Saving Our Seas. I'm Julia Huang from Ocean Conservation Administration in Taiwan. This is the third year of Youth Innovation Challenge. In the past year, in 2021, Topics are for climate change and seas. In 2022, the themes are chiefly marine debris. And in this year, our challenge calls for innovation idea for marine diversity and conservation, including to try to protect 30% by Earth's surface by 2030. So here I try to explain more on this year's challenge. So first of all, regarding the marine debris, consider the environmental protection. Our administrations in total collect more than 70,000 tons in last years. However, this is a global issue. We need more innovation and effective ways to clean marine debris. So that's the first issue. And secondly, regarding the biodiversity, in last year's CBD meeting, they adopted a Montreal Global Biodiversity Goal. There are 4 goals and 23 targets in total. Among them, one of them are try to at least cover 30% marine ecosystem should be effectively conserved and management. For Taiwan, we are also taking the action very seriously. We focus on increased quality to promote the legislative for marine conservation, assess important ecological marine areas, and improve quality based on ecological survey and data collections. Furthermore, the long-term monitoring and the management of local conservation capacity. We are continuing to significant impact on marine ecosystem and try to increase the biodiversity and the conservation of our marine environment. So in 2022, we collaboration with local government and industries to hold more than 100 workshops for education in marine biodiversity and conservation. In terms of protecting marine biodiversity and conservation, including conservation species survey and data such as dolphin, sea turtle, seabirds are collected. So in this year, we try to invite you and provide more amazing opportunities for young people to share your ideas and solutions around the world. Not only share the innovation idea, but also address the issues. We are looking forward to collecting creative ways to overcome marine environmental challenge. Please join us to protect and preserve our marine ecosystem together. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone.
Thanks, Nina, for showing that. And it's really nice to have the words from the Director General. And we're so happy all of you are here to submit your incredible ideas for how we can save our seas. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Nina, and thanks again.
Thanks, Judy. And yes, and thank you to Julia Huang for putting that great video together. We hope that that was a helpful introduction to Taiwan's OCA and the YIC as well. So I want to give you a quick introduction to, in addition to Taiwan's Ocean Conservation Administration, the other organizations that are making this possible, including at the North American Association for Environmental Education, and my colleagues here on the call. We are all working for NAAEE, and we're thrilled to be coordinating this challenge. So NAAEE, as we call it, we are a professional association and a champion for environmental education, not just in North America, but also around the world. And we're working with educators, with all kinds of environmental education professionals globally to advance the practice and impact of environmental education. And next slide. Our mission here at NAAEE is to use the power of education to advance environmental literacy and civic engagement, all to help build a more equitable and sustainable future for everyone. So we really believe in the power of environmental education, particularly to equip people with the skills, knowledge, and tools that they need to be active citizens and good stewards of our environment. And you'll see this come up in the YIC criteria as well in a few minutes. So at NAAEE, we have a wide range of programs. We're working to build leadership, strengthen networks. We're connecting research to practice. And we have this amazing online network for connecting environmental educators with one another. So I really encourage you to take a look at our website. We have a lot of incredible resources and networking opportunities on there. So please, please take a look. All right, and so this challenge, the Youth Innovation Challenge in particular, is made possible by the Global Environmental Education Partnership, or the GEEP, and NAAEE is the secretariat of the GEEP. And our mission through the GEEP is to create a global learning network that helps build capacity and strengthen environmental education, or EE. If you hear us saying EE, we're talking about environmental education. And we aim to do this globally through the GEEP. So again, we have a number of resources on our website that help you explore environmental education practice and policies around the world. I encourage you to take a look. And through the GEEP, we are just so excited to be working with Taiwan's Ocean Conservation Administration to make this challenge possible over the last 3 years. And with that, I think we're ready to dive into the challenge itself. So I'm going to turn it back over to Madeline.
Thanks, Nina, and hi, everyone. Again, my name is Madeline, and I'm going to talk through about the YIC, some of the selection criteria and other details. And then we'll dive into some overall advice, and then we can go to Q&A. If you guys have any questions, we're here to answer them. So as you just heard from Nina and from DG Huang, the 2023 Youth Innovation Challenge is all about how we can protect marine resources and support people of all ages to be engaged stewards for marine environments. So there are quite a few benefits to applying to the YIC. From our applicant pool, we're going to select 15 YIC finalists. And those finalists will receive a certificate, global recognition on our websites and social media, access to a growing global community of EE professionals and other YIC alumni. And then new this year, awardees will also receive an invitation to a virtual dialogue with other awardees near the end of the year. And this will be an interactive dialogue where awardees will have an opportunity to share ideas with each other, learn from new perspectives, and expand their networks and connect with each other. And then from the 15 finalists, 3 winners will receive a $1,000 USD prize for their solution. So we will announce winners and finalists in November. And if you don't make the top 15 this year, we also encourage you to ask for feedback, and our reviewers will provide feedback on your solution for you. Okay, there are a few eligibility requirements for both your solution, your application, and also yourself. So for your solution, it must address one of the key topics, and we'll discuss those in just a bit. And it must include an environmental education component. In your application, you should have a pitch that's about 3 minutes, and we'll also talk through that. And your solution should be submitted through our online application portal called Submittable, and it should be in English. And then you, as an applicant, should be 15 to 30 years old, and you can be from anywhere in the world. So we do have a applicant handbook that details everything that I'm talking through and more. So it goes over the selection criteria, the timeline, resources, all the application questions, and you can review all of this beforehand. We encourage you to use this as like a guide map as you look through the challenge and you prep your application. And you can find this on our website, and we'll also send it to you in an email after this webinar. Okay, so new this year is our innovative pitch. So in the past years, we've asked you to submit a video pitch of about 3 minutes to tell us about your solution and pitch us your idea, basically. So this year we're expanding that, and we want you to use your creativity to give us a pitch for your innovative solution. And it doesn't have to just be a video. So for example, you could do a video, but you could also give us your pitch through an audio track, artwork, storybooks, poems, films, anything creative that you can think of. So we're open to all different types of formats of pitches this year. The main gist of the pitch is that it should highlight your solution and why it's unique, and it should also address the selection criteria, which we'll talk about in just a bit here. There are a few parameters to the video or to the pitch itself. So ensure that it can be read or viewed within 3 minutes. That means that if you're submitting something like a children's book, it should be able to be read by our reviewers in about 3 minutes or less. Your pitch should be in English or have an English subtitle or transcript provided for our reviewers. We do have a file size limit of about 800 megabytes. And then online, we also, on the application, it tells you all the accepted file types. So if you look through the application, you can kind of see what file types will accept before you submit your pitch. Please only use copyrighted free content. So that means that if you include any third-party images, music, videos, whatever, that you provide links to the resource and that it is a copyright-free content. And then also, if you have any images or videos of anyone else in your pitch, that you have their permission. So for example, if you have images of people from your community, make sure that you have their permission to use that content. And you can contact us with any questions if you have any issues uploading your pitch. If you're unsure about the type of format that you want to submit, just contact us and we can help you out with that. And we do have an example video that I wanted to share with you. So this is a winner from last year, and she had a really cool video. And again, this year you don't have to submit a video exactly, but we do have a bunch of our past finalists and winners videos online, and it's great to view those as inspiration. So I'm going to go ahead and play this.
To be or not to be? The oceans ask, and the answer may be up to us. Hi, my name is Kyo. I'm a high school student, and I want to create change for marine pollution using the performing arts, using creativity, positivity, and a fresh perspective. But theater productions can generate huge amounts of waste, from printing materials, creating costumes, props, and designing sets. Well, here is my solution. A school theatrical project, The Ocean Story, designed to mitigate the impacts of marine pollution in every single stage of the production, from scripting to performance to education. The very first step is a beach cleanup. The entire school community will collect litter from the shores or extract microplastics with filters, then separate collected litter into one of 3 categories: garbage, recycle, or material, which will later be used to create costumes, props, and sets. During the cleanup process, environmental education would take place in classrooms and in the real world to teach the school community about the impacts of marine pollution in a region and in the world. The goal of the project is to help marine pollution on a direct level, but it's more than that. It also aims to educate students and catalyze passion. This project can equip youth the very first tools they need, awareness and initiative, on their journey of fighting the climate crisis. This learning is also carried out through step number 2, scripting. The focus of the ocean story is, of course, to tell the story from the ocean's perspective. So, students and staff would undertake the challenging but rewarding responsibility of scripting in order to create an exciting and educative play. Whether the production focuses on the history of marine pollution or takes a deep dive into impacts on wildlife, writers can learn more about the endless blue sea. Step number 3 is to design costumes, props, and sets, mostly using the aforementioned litter collected through beach cleanups. Dresses designed from wrappers, swords made from bottles, or houses painted with microplastics, the possibilities are endless in the creative minds of youth. After the hard work put into the project, it is finally time for the show, where everyone's collective efforts will come together in one whole piece. Furthermore, the performance will be an opportunity to raise awareness for marine pollution within the region. The ocean story will imbue thought, leading to discussions, leading to action, creating a positive ripple effect for the wider community. The profit raised from the ocean story, through ticket sales or even donations, would be used for the conservation of marine health. Whether that means donating to charitable organizations or funding educational resources, the project will come full circle and encourage students to learn more and take action. Students will be given a voice for the future of our Earth and have a direct impact on our community. Sometimes all we need is a little creativity, positivity, and fresh perspective to get us started. Let us learn from Hamlet that tragedies can be avoided, and so we say to the oceans now, be.
Okay, so that was just one really great example. And again, I'll send you a link to all of our finalists and winner videos, which are on our website. Okay, so I wanted to talk through the selection criteria quickly, and then we'll go into some overall advice for the program. So these are the 5 selection criteria that the judges will be looking for and evaluating for your solution. And I'll dive a bit into each one. So the first selection criteria is that your solution should address one of the following topics. So we have 2. The first is marine biodiversity and conservation. So this could be managing, protecting, restoring marine biodiversity. It could also include using education as a key tool in establishing or managing marine protected areas, which is under the Global 30 by 30 initiative that DG Huang was talking about. So protecting 30% of Earth's surface by 2030. And the second topic is marine debris. So reducing or mitigating the effects of marine debris, which could include monitoring, cleanup, recycling, or educating communities about this issue. The second selection criteria is often the one that our applicants struggle with the most. And so I want to provide a few extra resources for you about this one. And this is that your solution should include environmental education. So what is EE? EE provides the skills, values, attitudes, and behaviors that encourage individuals and groups to be thoughtful and engaged change makers. And as part of your solution, EE can help ensure that solutions are focused on supporting your community and long-term change within your community, or whatever scale you're working on. So to sum it up, EE does these 4 things. It builds capacity for informed choices. It integrates environmental goals within the context of a community's interests or issues. It supports collaborative and inclusive partnerships, especially recognizing a diversity of backgrounds and perspectives, and it empowers people to take positive action for the environment. So EE is more than just sharing knowledge or raising awareness about an issue. It's equipping people with the tools, skills, and motivations to be stewards for the environment. And so for more on EE, we have resources on NAAEE's website, and we'll send you this URL here after the webinar. And then NAAEE also has a learning website Nina talked about earlier called EE Pro. This is an online hub for EE professionals to share opportunities and resources and to discuss related EE topics and issues. It's free to sign up and join EE Pro, and there are also topic-specific discussion groups that you can join. And one thing that EE Pro has is EE Learn modules, and these dive into what EE is and why it's important, and you can access these for free once you sign up. So I will also send this link, but I encourage you to dive into these resources to really learn about what EE is and how you can incorporate it into your solution, and reach out to us with any questions. Okay, the third selection criteria is that your solution should be informed or backed by relevant research or evidence. So we want to see that you've designed your solution based on an understanding of the complex social, economic, and environmental dynamics that surround it, and that you provide relevant research to demonstrate this. This research can come from books, journals, websites, videos, anything. We encourage you to use anything that's a credible source. In our applicant handbook, we do have a little part about what makes a source credible. We have a resource for that. And so I encourage you to look through that, and we'll also share that after the webinar. And the fourth selection criteria is that your solution must be innovative. So this means that your solution meets a need in your community or whatever scale you're working at. So that could be your country, your region, or your city, using a new or better idea, practice, product, process, or strategy to address the issue you're attempting to solve. So this could be an entirely new solution, or you could apply an existing tool or approach in a new context, or for a new audience, or include engaging ways through environmental education to reach new people. So lots of different options here to be innovative. And the final selection criteria is that your solution must be feasible. So we want to see that you or your team have the necessary skills and experiences to make your proposed solution a success. And we want to see that you're thinking and identifying potential challenges or risks to ensure the long-term viability of your solution. We don't expect you to have every detail figured out. These things, like your solution may not be something that you can do, in the next 5 years. Maybe it's something that's more long-term. We just want to see that you're really considering the whole holistic view of your solution and thoughtfully considering how it can actually be sustainable in the long term. Okay, so that was all of the 5 selection criteria. And I don't see any questions in the chat, so I'm going to keep going. So I'm going to talk through a few frequently asked questions that we get. And we do have a whole webpage with more, but these are just a few of the most frequent questions that we get. So can we apply as a team? And the answer is yes. We encourage collaboration and we accept applications from teams. If you are a team, we encourage you to have one person that's kind of your point of contact for the team and that they fill out the application and that they are the person who is between 15 and 30. And there will be a space in the application where they can include other team members' names, but make sure that in the application they mention your team throughout your written responses. Can I submit more than one solution? We ask that you only submit your most innovative and feasible idea. So only one solution per person. So we don't want you to submit like 10 ideas. Find your strongest one and really hone in onto that. And then will you judge English language ability or English proficiency? And we do not, even though we require that everything is in English, our judges will not judge your English language ability or your speaking ability or writing ability. Rather, your score will be based on the strength of your solution and your ability to communicate your ideas and your vision to the judges. And we do have, like I said, a whole FAQ page. You can visit that here, and we'll include this in the email that we send to you after this webinar. But definitely reach out with any questions. Let us know. And you can also ask us. We'll have a Q&A in just a few minutes here. Okay, I'd like to go over a few overall advice before we jump into Q&A about what makes a great application. So first and foremost, be specific as you can. We want to give the judges a super clear image of your solution and how it will help solve your marine related issue. And then kind of along those same lines, the more detail you can provide, the better. So we do have a word count for each question, and then we do have that length of 3 minutes or less for the pitch. So use those in full, use that to your advantage if you can. And then align your responses with the selection criteria. So we just talked through briefly all of the selection criteria, and the YIC applicant handbook also has a bit more in depth about each criteria. So I encourage you to use that as your guide map, really read through those and use those to shape your solution towards the application. And then finally, tell us your overall story. So we do want to know about your solution and how it will help create a more sustainable future. But if there's a story behind your solution about why you came up with it, how it addresses a need in your community, tell us that too. So this can really help you stand out among other applicants. And then the deadline to submit is July 19th, just a few weeks away by 11:59 p.m. US Eastern Time. Make sure you check the time in your time zone to make sure you submit on time. So like I said, after this webinar, we'll send you a few resources in an email along with a recording of this webinar. So a few of those resources will be the FAQ page that we talked about. We have a webpage called 10 Tips for a Great Video Pitch. And while this is aimed at video pitches specifically, it might be really great for you to look through that, and it could apply to your pitch in whatever format it is. And then we have these few links about EE that you can look through to learn more about EE and why it's important and how you can better include it in your solution. And then we also have all of our past YIC awardee innovations up on our webpage. So that includes their 3-minute videos, but also summaries of their innovations. And then again, I know I sound like a broken record, but please read through the YIC applicant handbook before you submit your application. And email us with any questions that you might have. You can look through our webpage. And I think that's all I have for you. So if you have any questions, let us know. And Nina, I don't think I see any specifically in the chat.
So yeah, so we have a few that were shared privately, but we're gonna answer them with everyone because I do think that they will be helpful for everyone. So I'm putting them in the chat just in case it's easier for some people to read the questions instead of hearing us answer them out loud. So the first question is regarding the video format. Is it necessary for participants, I guess participants that you're working with through your solution, do they need to appear in the video? Is it sufficient to have a pitch deck with slides synchronized to my narration of the idea in the background? And then I guess the second part of this is, I know you've opened creative delivery of ideas this year, so you can submit more than just the video. How will that affect the applications?
Cool, that's a really good question. So you can totally have a pitch deck with narration. That's perfect for your pitch. It's not necessary to have your participants appear in the video, but if you want to, if that helps you tell your story, you totally can. Like I said earlier, if you do have anyone, for example, like from your community, or if your participants are like kids at a school, make sure that you have their permission or their guardian's permission to share their photos or videos. And that's just because if we do end up sharing your video, like if you were to be selected as a finalist, for example, we just want to make sure that we have the rights to use that content. But yeah, that would be great. It sounds like you already have a really strong idea for your pitch. And then the second part of that question is, how will it affect the applications since we've opened up the type of pitch you can submit? And that won't affect the applications any differently. We'll still have judges evaluating using the selection criteria that we talked about earlier. So there won't be any difference in the way that they evaluate a pitch, besides the fact that they'll be reading a larger variety of types of pitches. Yep.
Great, yeah. And I'll just add the criteria that we've shared, feasibility, innovation, education. There's a fourth one. Those criteria, those are the criteria that are being assessed. And so your pitch, whether it's a video or something else, and your written application are considered together in how our reviewers evaluate those against those different criteria. So they're not evaluating your pitch or your video on its own. It's more just another way for you to communicate how your solution is addressing those criteria. So I hope that helps as well. Okay, so the other question is, or maybe I was getting ahead of myself with these questions. I'd like to understand the criteria for judging the submissions. Will the evaluation primarily focus on the video presentation and how it's delivered, or will the emphasis be on the innovative idea itself? Sorry, I think I was answering this question, but Madeline, do you have anything else to add to this?
No, I think you covered that. Yeah, that's perfect. So yeah, like Nina said, the 5 criteria that we talked through and that are in the applicant handbook, that's what the judges will use to evaluate all parts of the application, including the pitch.
Great. And lastly, my video exceeds the time limit by 20 seconds. Would it be acceptable to keep it as is, or should I make adjustments to fit within the specified duration?
I will let you decide what you do, but I'll tell you that we only let judges watch or view the first 3 minutes of a pitch, and when we tell them to stop after that. And I know it's really hard to cut down, but yeah, it's up to you whether you want to make the adjustments, it sounds like you've already designed your pitch, but just know those last 20 seconds will likely not be viewed if they're over the 3-minute time mark.
And we do that to be fair across applicants, giving everyone the same, the same limits. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Really good questions so far. And you're welcome to email us if you have any questions. I know the deadline's still a few weeks away, so you might, still be working on your submission, and you might have some questions come up. You're welcome to contact us with any questions. All right. Well, Madeline, I think you had a few more things to share. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so we have NAAEE has an awards program called the Pratt & Whitney eSTEM Awards, and it's with the organization Pratt & Whitney, and these are due June 28th, so it's a prize and grant program that you can apply for with your organization, and it asks for nonprofit organizations that work with eSTEM, so that's STEM, so science, math, technology, and engineering with environmental literacy. And so if you work with an organization that does any type of eSTEM work with students or anything like that, you can apply to this, and they are due on Wednesday. And you can look at our website there for more information about the program. So it's both a grant and a prize. It's 2 separate applications that you can apply for. And yeah. So that's it. We look forward to seeing your applications, and let us know if you have any questions, and good luck.
Actually, I just got one other question
Oh, sure.
in the chat. Also really good question. So, and this will be recorded. So we'll share this around if anyone has to leave. But 2 questions. Do we have to include the sources from which we get the evidence? So like, do you have to include links in the question about research?
Yeah, if you could include links, that would be great. We encourage you to include any of your sources, at least mention them, but if you could include the links to it, that would be ideal.
And we know space is an issue. So yeah, if including the full link is too much, then yeah, at least letting us know what source you got that information from will be helpful. And will we receive a certificate of participation?
Oh, that one we get, and it's always a tough one. So let us know what you need in terms of our certificate of participation. We usually don't give them out, but if you need something to show, like for school, that you have applied to this, email us and let us know what your needs are, and we can work with you.
Yeah, we usually do that on like a case by case, but yeah, do email us and we'll see what we can help out with. Great. I think that's it. Good questions, everyone. Thanks for joining. Good luck with your submissions. And we're so excited to see what you all come up with.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.